We are on the impact of experience. It is the wiring that is so tremendously important in the first months after birth, when the number of connections explodes. The early experiences of the infant greatly influences the ways in which neurons connect. Daniel Siegel, in his very important book, The Developing Mind, says, genes and early experience shape the way neurons connect to one another, and thus from the specialized circuits that give rise to mental processes. In this way, experiences in early life have a tremendously important impact on the developing mind. And that book was in 1999. This has a special significance for adoptees who are separated from their mothers, often at birth. So their earliest postnatal experience is one of separation and loss. This is what we've been talking about, right? We are reminded that studies of animals have demonstrated that even short periods of maternal deprivation have powerful neuroendocrine effects on the ability to cope with future stressful events. In a direct way, experience shapes the structure of the brain, or as Canadian psychologist Donald Hebb describes it, neurons that fire together wire together. And that's as of 2000. All right, so as we were talking about, there's no comparison to pre-trauma because most of us were adopted at birth. Not everyone, but understand that that does happen. So, and that meaning when our brains are wired, right? When we're experiencing from age 1 to 3, our first experience is in fact fear, is in fact feeling unsafe, is the missing of our mothers, right? Because all we know is our mothers, and I'm talking our biological mothers, right? Our natural mothers. Is their voice, is their smell, is the sound of, is their heartbeat, is their energy, right? And so when we're taken away from that, we're experiencing so much, right? And there are absolutely scientific research on babies that are in NICU, right? So they've done this. Now, granted, NICU, the mothers still come in, limited time, but they see that these babies are going through this, right? And then as soon as they're connected to the mother, they start to do better. They're not as in a bad position, right, with their brains. Or sometimes if you've seen like the twin videos where two babies come together, they instantly know. It's kind of like that, right? They have each other. And so babies, right, the first 3 months is considered the 4th trimester. I know that's weird, but basically it's still feeling like they are part of the womb and need that connection to understand the world. Now, normally I don't like comparing adoptees to animals, but I'm going to have to do it for this instance, okay? They have, as we read in this, right, that there are reasons that there are laws in our country, and I think like every country, I could be wrong, where you're not allowed to separate a mother from their babies for at least 8 weeks. At least 8 weeks, right? Yet, because we know they're not playing slates, right? We know that it harms the animal. But yet we do exactly the opposite for humans. Literally, there are more laws on the books for animals, protection of animals, than there are for humans. And like, we have way more compassion. Don't get me wrong, I am a big animal person. I really am. I mean, heck, I have 4 kittens of myself and might get a dog soon. That's a whole other story. But I'm going to tell you guys a story. Okay, when I first got Coco and Beans, who are my older 2 of the 4 kittens, right? We got them they were between 7 and 8 weeks. The mom was still at the shelter. And that broke my heart, right? But can't do anything about it. I would have happily taken the mom too. When I had to bring them back for their shots, I made sure that they had time to see mom again. And even though it had been at least between 4 and 6 weeks since they had last saw her, they remembered her and she remembered them. There was an instant connection. And that's what we mean by we need to have this in place. We need to do better for children, right? There's so much more that I want to say, and like we're just reading right now, so I'm going to have to make other videos on this, but to work on your own reunion as a human being, and every reunion is different. It's difficult, right? It's that so much time has passed, even if you've had an open adoption, right? Every adoption is different, including open adoptions, but to work on your reunion, it feels like so much time has passed, right? But at the same time, no time has passed. It's that instant, you feel like it was meant to be, but then like you have no actual memories. And that's where it's tough. Anyway, I will see you guys next time for implicit memory because we have way more to talk about.